Hi everyone, and welcome to the Virgo February 2022 mid-month love reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own spiritual importance. All right, so usually my mid-month readings focus on engaging your authentic self with your external environment, but because of Valentine's Day, I am focusing on the energy of love. So I've also enjoyed doing these readings so much that I think I'm going to change up what I post each month and include a love reading actually. But Virgo, let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the overarching theme around the energy of love for the month of February, and to see what Spirit would like you to engage with. Now, this could end up being around romantic love. It could be around simply love in between a deep interpersonal connection that you have currently in your life, be that a family member, a friend, can even be a coworker or a pet. All right. Oh, interesting. So we had, I think Aquarius got this exact same card. So you guys may be dealing with an Aquarius in your life possibly, or have Aquarius placements in your chart. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of intuitively read this and see if the same messages came up around this card that came up for Aquarius. So the card is codependency. It says addictions are affecting your romantic life. Now, I know this card can kind of be triggering because we immediately associate addictions with alcohol or drug abuse or being addicted to something kind of along those lines. But when we think of codependency, we can actually be addicted to another person. We can be addicted to a dynamic that we get into over and over again with in a partnership, or in a work relationship, or even in a familial relationship. And there's an element coming through here strongly around that there is maybe not necessarily a drug or alcohol or substance abuse issue, that there's more of a codependency in the relationship itself. That there is something that you are seeking to gain from entering into love-based relationships, and it's almost like you are addicted to whatever you get from that. Now, this could look like something where maybe you jump from one relationship to the next because you are looking to get that high from when you first start a relationship and you feel that kind of like, I'm in love. And then it kind of peters out, and so you do it again. Or this could look like where you, in each relationship you get into, that you are maybe looking for the other person to fulfill some aspect of yourself that maybe you feel that you could not fulfill in yourself. Meaning, maybe you want to be of service to others, but because you have no other outlet for that, you want to be of service in a relationship. And so you are dependent on another person to make you feel like you are allowing that part of yourself to be utilized and fulfilled. Or where we are looking for somebody else to maybe provide us with the safety or security we feel that we cannot provide for ourselves and meet our own needs. So there's something around here, Virgo, that really is focusing on, and I'm really feeling, it could just be those of you who are watching this message, but there is something about repeat behavior and getting into multiple relationships around whatever it is you're seeking to gain, whatever you're dependent on in this relationship. Now, it could be that you are currently in a stable relationship and that previously you had maybe gone from relationship to relationship to relationship. And again, this doesn't have to be romantic. This doesn't have to be that you are having multiple romantic partners. This could be where you are going from maybe one friend or acquaintance to another, to another, to another, or from one work environment to another, to another, to another. And that you're, again, seeking to gain something out of this energy of love. Like, I love this job and I'm going to dedicate myself to this. And then you kind of fall out of love with it and you do it again. So there's something around bringing attention to a repeat behavioral pattern and where you want to feel that energy of love, where you want to feel that connection of, I love this and I am loved in return. All right, so now that we have that as our main focus, I'm going to pull some clarifying cards here, where we're going to pull cards around what Spirit would like you to be curious about and open to regarding love. Oh, we have, let's see, how many cards here? 3 cards. Okay, so we're going to start with curiosity. Then we're going to pull cards for where Spirit would like you to be courageous in taking action around the energy of love and in love. And then we'll pull a final kind of underlying theme, a reflection point for contemplation for the month. So we have simple acts of kindness. It says kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you, number 5, which is the number that harnesses change, which is interesting. There's something around the simple acts of kindness that, and kind of getting down to reducing yourself to, I think, focusing on simple acts, that it might actually change things in your experience in a way that you might not be aware of. So we have physical touch. It says a tender touch can mean so much, number 47, breaking down to master, number 11. And be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care, number 45, breaking down to a 9. So when we're thinking about the superpower of why we want to bring curiosity into our life and work with it, is that curiosity has that ability to kind of wipe the slate clean. Where we become curious, we kind of almost go back to being the innocent child, where we are curious about what we don't know. And we don't bring in the suppositions and kind of the jaded thought patterns that come in after we kind of move away from that, where we stop being curious because we think we already know the outcome. And so we're using curiosity to wipe the slate clean and to be curious about what is it around physical touch and simple acts of kindness that can really bring you into the energy of love in being supportive. You know, Virgo, you are a sign that is all about healing. You are part of your spiritual purpose on this earth and in this life experience is to step up and into the role of healer. And I know many Virgos in my life who are very close friends of mine. And it's a difficult path because it can also be one where you are very highly empathetic, and in trying to heal others, you can often kind of push aside your own needs. And when we are deeply empathetic people, it's also very hard to kind of put up those boundaries between what is ours and what is another's, and how much of that do we take on our own shoulders. But there's something here with being curious around really bringing the element of love really down to kind of its simplest form, of understanding that love is a supportive energy. It is, whether it's in the work environment, whether it's in a romantic relationship, or whether it's just between you and a very close connection, that we sometimes forget how much, just a light touch with somebody can be, and the power that can bring. That even in a relationship, just through doing the simple day-to-day things that allow you to connect on a very intimate level with the person you're with, to understand the importance and the power of that connection. And that sometimes even that can be misused in that we can maybe perhaps have kind of an interesting dynamic around maybe, and I'm going to take it to this point, if it's in a romantic relationship, something around actually the kind of sexual act or the bonding that we have with another, that there may be a codependency in relation to that, or that you need that physical touch to make you feel like you are that you can feel the energy of love between you and another. And I think as much as physical touch is very important, and it can mean so much, that we also have to understand that love can simply just be felt when we are actively showing love through acts of kindness, through being genuinely supportive to those that we love, and that it doesn't always have to be in the physical act that we have love defined, or that we allow somebody to get close to us on that level. There's something around closeness in the physical act of consummating love. Now, this could actually be also where, if you're in a work environment, let's say this is, pertaining to a relationship where you're going from job to job to job. This could also be where you really like the initial kind of hands, kind of like getting your hands dirty, so to speak, and learning the job and getting out there, and you like that aspect of it. And then you kind of, once that period kind of ends, it's almost like, okay, well then what do I do now? Like once things get good, it's like, all right, well, now what? So there is something again around the physicality and being kind of codependent in that physical energy, and understanding that, yes, that's important, but you can just connect through the energy of love and simply just going about your day-to-day routine, or letting somebody know that you're thinking about them or you're connecting with them in the small acts that you provide. It doesn't actually have to be in in the physical element of it. And same with, let's say this was a job, and now with that whole kind of building phase, or boots on the ground, or getting your hands dirty is done. This can look like, instead of just jumping to the next job or then creating the next business for yourself, that then you bring the element of love back to, okay, now where can I support all of this work I've put in with my hands? What can I do now in the small acts that I choose to take on, where I'm actually almost worshiping the effort that I've put in? And that can be the same in a romantic relationship, where we don't always have to be physical, but we can, in the small acts, show how much we are holding the other person sacred. It's a really interesting message coming through, Virgo. Very different than Aquarius's message, but something around touch and the physicality and a codependency around that. And when we're thinking about being curious around all of this, it's about being curious as to, what if you removed that element of the physical and you elevated into the higher version of love, which transcends our physical experience and literally is the connective, or the way that I see it, the connective life force that lies between everything. What if you were to tap into that? How much further not only how much deeper could you get into a relationship you might already be in, but also how much farther could your healing efforts be felt? All right. Okay, so Virgo, let's take a look at the concept of courage and where Spirit would like you to be courageous in taking action in the energy of love this month. So what does Virgo need to know about where to take action? And as you've heard me say probably a few times now, I always associate action with courage, because it takes courage to take action. But action is where we get to grow, where we get to instigate change, where we get to actually not only change ourselves internally, but we also get to see that change manifested externally to us. So we have, for courage, where to take action, it says, listen with your heart. You are listening, but need to hear with a loving heart. Beautiful message. Again, this kind of comes down to this removal of the physical, and that really where to take action is simply allowing yourself to elevate into the energy of love, and allow that as you are engaging with people with any type of, dynamic where love can be brought into that mix, that you are truly utilizing your heart to actively listen, to be able to hear beyond the words and into the energy of love of what that person is literally emanating at a soul level. It's a very beautiful message. And it can take courage, because oftentimes when we're listening to somebody else, we want to put on them all of our own suppositions and all of our own opinions. And I find myself even, and I have to stop myself, that as I'm listening to somebody else talk, I'm kind of just waiting for my chance to talk, or I'm waiting to give my opinion on what they're saying. And this is really saying, have the strength, the courage to try to not do that this month, to be actively aware of that, and to stop, and as you're speaking to somebody, to really elevate, almost like tune your antenna to their soul, to really hear what they need help in healing. And I think that's going to help some aspect of your experience, kind of help break this codependency with the physical and elevate you above that, to understand that in just providing a listening ear, we can help, be helpful, be of service to others, and truly seeing and hearing them. All right. What do Virgos need to know about kind of the underlying general theme to contemplate and reflect upon for and around the energy of love for February? Now, I do like the cards to come out organically. I apologize that sometimes this means it takes a little while, but that's just me. Feel free to skip ahead if it's a little much. These cards are gigantic. I do have a hard time shuffling, but nothing comes out in the next couple rounds here. Oh, and every time I say that, the card always pops out. All right, so we have act as if your partner is here. Whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. Number 37, breaking down to a 10, further breaking down to a 1. This energy is harnessing new beginnings. There is, with the underlying message here, there's a feeling of perhaps, even if this is work related, so this can be obviously romantic partnership related, but this is asking you to act as if you are already in your ideal scenario, so that when you start to feel that, maybe that little bit of a pull away from that initial adrenaline rush that comes with new love, or the adrenaline rush that comes with starting a new business, that you create a consistent vision for yourself and feeling around what you would like in a perfect partnership for you, or a perfect work environment for you. That once we clarify that for ourselves, once we clarify what we would like and what we need from a partner, then it comes down to simply living from that place and allowing the person to come in, or the right work circumstance to come in for you. And it allows you to, as you are navigating, let's say, a new partnership, or you are navigating even a current partnership, that you might start to take action as if you already are with that person. And maybe in your current relationship, for some of those who are already in a relationship, maybe you are feeling dissatisfied with your current partnership, or you feel that there is something that maybe the kind of the bloom has gone off the rose, or you name it. You could just be going through a tough time. But this is something where when we start to act as if that person is our perfect person, we start to re-engage in the energy of love, and we start to re-engage ourselves with being able to see through the eyes of love, being able to hear through the ears of love. And we can bring a fresh perspective to what may be an old situation or an old energetic connection. And we allow ourselves to start to really appreciate the person who's there, for us to take action in a way that, I think really with this being a point of reflection, is to kind of reflect on, how would I act if I was with my perfect person? And am I acting that way now? And if not, why? What needs to change? And why can't I take action like that now? If I could have my perfect job environment, what would I be doing now? And am I doing that now? And if not, then how can I make the change moving into possibly next month to start incorporating more of what I would actually like to take action on? So reflection kind of brings us back to being curious and leads us into the next action steps. So really utilize this to take a look at analyzing how you would like to act in a perfect, ideal environment, to hold that up as a reflection point to your current environment, to see where you are not acting in alignment with that, and to, as you move into March, start acting as if you do have the perfect job, you do have the perfect partner, you do have the perfect environment to do whatever you want to do and feel connected to through the energy of love. And start to see that as you start to act as if you have that, how that's going to open you up to actually being able to bring in that environment for you, bring in that perfect partner, or help you to see that maybe even the person you're with now is that person. You've just stopped acting as the perfect partner for that person. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull just a couple clarifier cards here. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some clarifier cards for curiosity here. There's something around, again, a codependency around the physical act. Okay, so we have the King of Swords, which is about being strong in truth. Oh, and Eight of Wands, okay. Quick movement or fast communication. There's a truth that needs to be spoken and shared here. An understanding, a knowledge. Let's see, what any additional message that Virgo needs to know around? Oh, interesting. Two of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Okay, so there is, and okay, this is kind of opened up another layer to this. So Two of Swords and Ace of Wands, there's a lack of clarity around, I think you're sitting with not wanting to make a decision around a new idea, a new inspiration. The Ace of Wands is our eternal flame. It is the spark. It is our magic wand, so to speak, given to each one of us from the divine. And there's a feeling here of being torn, not being able to see the way and making a decision and moving forward with this Ace of Wands. And there needs to be something, a truth communicated. So this could be that there's something around a passion. And for some of you, I think there is something, again, a new idea, a new inspiration, a new connection that you don't have clarity around. And I think, I'm just trying to listen for the message here. So there's something around what you like to do, but the truth needs to be communicated. There's something, and it's interesting because the King of Swords can harness the energy of Aquarius. So that Aquarian connection here is coming through really strongly. You actually may be dealing, for very few of you, there may be one or two of you out there watching this, that you are dealing with an Aquarius who is going to communicate with you and share some truth. And that's going to, I think, bring up this indecision around following a new passion or inspiration. So some of you may have an Aquarius in your life. It doesn't have to be actually somebody that you are directly, meaning that you're in a romantic partnership, but this just could be an Aquarius person in your life that is going to communicate something to you around something around what you currently don't know which way to go around inspiration. And it's going to help either clarify that, or it's going to kind of give you the truth to say, some aspect maybe of what you're not seeing is, there needs to be some clarity around that. There needs to be some clarity around, again, truth regarding an inspiration. And so there is an Aquarian in here that I feel is going to be kind of reaching out to you in some capacity. Very interesting. I'm sorry, that came out to be a very specific message for maybe just one or two of you. Again, if you're not dealing with an Aquarius, it could just be something as simple as needing to face the truth, and that somebody's going to communicate something to you about somebody's going to communicate to you about a new idea or inspiration, and it's going to help clarify this indecision of not kind of seeing which way to go with that. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Anyways, Virgo, I hope you guys all have a wonderful February. If you would like to illuminate your own personal spiritual importance and to see how it can be of service to yourself and others, you can click on the link in my description box below to book a personal reading or one-on-one coaching session. And I will be posting the release dates for the March illumination readings at some point next week. Bye, all my lovely Virgos. I hope you have a wonderfully illuminating month. See ya.